G'day, welcome, Early Crow, episode 63, brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses. We've selected Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max kits and combos. Can't remember the next bit because Pratty didn't do a rundown, but Makita.
Yeah, so for,
more intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it, Dicko. How are you, mate?
I'm very, very good. Late scratching. T. Papley, I can't wait to see him operate once retired.
Go on.
Does Annie realise what she's getting herself in for?
She did say yes, so I'm going to say yes, she does.
Oh, fuck, boys, I got my jumper prezzo tonight.
They just sprung that one up on him, mate. Leave him alone.
Yeah, so Brad and I thought we'd get it going. This might be a two-parter, joined by him tomorrow night or tomorrow sometime.
Yeah,
or it might just be one big fat one, just P-Rat and I just unloading what's in whatever we've got inside our little bonces. But I thought the racing content needed to be done ASAP. It was a enormous week of racing. There was a lot of sport on too.
Yeah, there was. I think the women's IPL has started. I caught a few games of that. And then there's been a few footy games around. So, yeah, it's all starting to heat back up. The Indigenous All-Stars played for both codes. So,
yeah, they played Freo in the AFL. What was that about?
They just played an Indigenous All-Stars versus Freo game. Michael Walters, captain of the Indigenous All-Stars. And if I'm a Freo supporter, I'm shitting bricks because they got absolutely belted by the Indigenous All-Stars. Like proper.
No, I saw Longmire said they just played a vanilla brand.
Yeah, it looked very vanilla from about the 10 minutes of KO highlights I saw. But yeah. But you know how they say it's good weather for a duck on Saturday, you know, when it rains. Oh, fucking good day to be a duck. Well, I'll tell you what, even the ducks would have been spewing on fucking Saturday. How bad was that weather at Flemington?
It wasn't good. It wasn't fun. It was cold. Considered the overcoat. It was good for you. You hate the heat. You paraded well. Gorgeous sun was there with your beautiful missus. It's great to see them on track. Your first day sort of taking them for a while or ever?
Yeah,
Pratty?
Nah, ever. Michelle's been to the Valley a few times, pre-kid, and then first time taking Archie out on track, he loved it. Took him to the stables afterwards. It was raining sideways, so we hid underneath, you know, with a little, just as you come out of the stable, there's that little toilet block. We hid under there for like 15 minutes, so we didn't get saturated. Good luck getting that
in a spring carnival.
But no, it was good.
Unbelievable behaviour from the young bloke.
He was good, wasn't he?
Mm.
He was rattled a little bit to start with, especially when he saw the first few horses. Like when Shiny New Deal walked past him, and I forget Gav's partner's name, but she kind of smiled at him and walked past. And he was a bit rattled the first time, but then when she came around the second time, he had a big smile on his face and he was getting amongst it. So no, it was good. Good to take him out to see a few big dogs. It's great.
Speaking of big dogs, we saw a big thickie and the VRC thought he won. They thought he owned Revelair, who won race one very impressively, which we'll talk about now after this. But Farjak's a part owner of Fam Gorham.
Yep.
Who was, you could say, the toughest performance of the whole card to lead and hold on like it did for third in a good race. And I believe it anchored a number of his multis or kicked a few off. It probably did both, to be honest. The man's very sick. Loves a rocket. It was a big result for Far, and I've never seen someone roar a horse home to place harder in my life.
Especially when he's been told that he needs to take it a little bit easy and his voice box needs some time to recover. You could hear it clear as day on the coverage.
It was good to see him, though. Like, he looked good. Considering he was at War last Sunday. Like, 6 days later, he's just at Flemington looking good, feeling good, and betting good.
Yeah, in case people don't know, like, he was in hospital, was it 2 nights after his fight? So it wasn't the cleanest part. At the end of the first round, he got hit pretty badly in his throat, and it was not dicey, I don't think, but it wasn't. Things weren't looking good. So no, he was up and about on Saturday, and then obligingly took us up to the Chairman's Club, which was nice to go and sit out of there and watch the Umbrella almost decapitate a couple of spectators, and they just still ran the race anyway.
The Umbrella. I mean, what we saw there at Flemington from up above, lucky enough to be in the Chairman's there for a brief little stint, was an Umbrella take off and hurtle reverse way, Sydney way of going.
Yep.
Down the straight there at Flemington, amongst the roses.
It hopped the entryway.
Pistol Pete jumps out from behind a bin and grabs it.
Yeah, some
And
random
you would have
bloke
thought
chased
that
it down.
the powers that be would have said, let's wait till that's been secured by like a staff member
Yep.
before we send these horses off. Nah.
That was a long, skinny bloke with a ponytail.
Real Australian.
down.
He just gave the thumbs up.
They
gave
just
thumbs
went,
up.
all right, we'll just let it go
The
then.
gates
Sounds
opened
good.
and off they went. That race was chaos. The whole day was chaotic. I think the horses at the front half of the day probably got away easiest in the conditions, and maybe at the back end of the day. But certainly the races from sort of 3 to 8 were brutal.
Yeah.
They all were tough though. Severe winds affected horses sort of rails in run and anything that was exposed to it. So down the straight, if you were leading or if you were, an extra tooth case last pretty much, but still exposed to that wind, it was a pretty hard day. Or if, like say, flash flood, you were 3 wide, no cover for the entire tough day.
Yeah, very tough day.
I thought Reveille in the first. Now I'm not gonna go off and over race here and say he's going to win a Melbourne Cup or something like that. That would be stupid. What I will say is he's incredibly progressive and a really exciting horse to zone in on. Fascinating that I didn't see anyone not tip him on any platform, social media, TV or radio, yet somehow he drifted from 240 to 350 on game day. I don't know what that means, but it certainly was interesting the way the market moved. They identified, I think particularly the second horse, Kieran's horse, Kings Valley, who sat outside lead and went good. Our horse, Shine New Deal, didn't have a lot of luck. And I thought he went really, really good. He was strong through the line. He was up next to Reveille, sort of 50 metres, 100 metres past the post. So we were really as happy as you could be, P-Rat, without winning their race 1. I think the winner's special, and I'm really happy with our horse, Shine New Deal. Probably outside of that, if they're smart, Far and Clay and the boys, Jordan, DeGoey, didn't get there on race day. If that ownership group's intelligent enough to get their heads together and they find the right sort of race for that horse, he'll pinch something big. Yeah. That race pattern puts himself up there, does the hard work, and he's obviously got a big heart on him. He's tough. I think that horse can pinch something if it's set up to do it. Yeah,
it ran a good race at Stony Creek, third up last time too in an open race. In front of Star Spangled Baby and Bon Appetit. So I would be looking at that horse third up. I reckon that. Do you think the race on the weekend will throw up some good form? I think it will.
Yeah, I think the winner will be group. The winner's a group horse.
Yeah,
for sure. And I hope that Shine New Deal is. I think they're the 2 progressive horses in that race. Yeah, they're the 2 sort of horses that can be Saturday horses. Yeah, like they're already Saturday horses. I mean, like listed group horses. I don't think Shine New Deal is going to be near as good as Reveille, but he's a horse that's maturing and learning as he goes. Like earlier in this preparation, he melted going to Caulfield. Now he's gone and run 2 big numbers back to back, so he's going super. I think they're the 2 to follow out of that race for sure. The 2-year-old race, they were the only 2 horses to ride the speed down the straight and win, or be near the finish all day. We had Bossy Nick make ground from a smothered position midfield, just worse, but with proper cover. And then we saw Skybird win the Group 1, back, cover, protected from the wind. So I think you give credit to Tentris and Shining Smile.
Shining Smile, yep.
I think Shining Smile might be more of a 1,000-metre horse, so I doubt they push on and back up this week into a Blue Diamond. I think there's a 2-year-old race back at Flemington down the straight, 1,000-metre race. That's where I'd take it for sure. Race 3, I thought was a disgrace for a group race, and just a really messy race. You learnt nothing, trust nothing out of it. Race 4, same sort of story. Thoughts and prayers with anyone involved in flash flood, just moronic tactics. If you're going to put apprentices on, you've got to keep it clear, I think, and it was enormous, so flash flood. If they push on with that horse this prep, I want to be with it.
What are you doing with Verdad? Just never again?
I might try and buy it when they finally sell it. Yeah.
Something like that.
Maybe the worst placed horse in history. but it's now got that stigma attached to it of a like the anti-Charlie Sheen. It hates lines. It's had one. He's won once. Bossy Nick was good. I think She's All Shenanigans out of race 5 is a horse we can follow with confidence. I'd love to see it. We've got a lot of racing coming up at Flemington. Back down the straight. It was really brave facing the wind. It went good. And then we get to race 6, Pratty. Rise at Dawn. Now, our horse, Just Folk, ran 3rd. Off 8 weeks. 2 nice trials. Very proud of him. Very happy with how he went. Disappointed didn't win, but I thought this race was suicidal. The Tiaco Silks. I can't think of the 2 other times, so I'll just say top 3 to be safe. The dumbest thing I've ever seen in racing. This horse off a bad failure in the Ballarat Cup behind Berkeley Square. Here we are, guys, off a trial. We've had a little freshen. Let's go and kill this horse at Flemington.
Yeah.
It's completely dust, that horse. It needs a good time off. Unbelievable. Again, thought attrition was a really good return for a horse that didn't even finish in the frame on your TV. Attrition has come back really well. Really happy with Just Folk. Shorten Lane's been up forever, so you're not going to make any money out of it. But Attrition's the horse you can sort of potentially make some money out of. Just Folk's going super. But the winner, Rise at Dawn, I think is potentially the next middle distance superstar in Australia. I think a lot of people, and fair enough, now they're Hutcho styling about Revelair, who was enormous in race 1, has now done it twice. It looks the progressive stayer, and he might be. He probably is. I think the next sort of superstar in the middle distance ranks that's got me excited, severe, lead in pencil, is Rise at Dawn for the Lindsay Park team. Just rolled through the grades last preparation. Just really rolled through the grades. You put it in front of it, and it did it. It came out to this, and it had absolutely no help in run. Because of this race shape and poor old Buffalo River, and we pray to God that this horse ends up at Living Legends where he deserves to be. And not... just please, imagine being in Buffalo and going back to Mike's. Not again. Please don't do it to me again, Mike. No. One of the bravest horses I've ever seen in my life, Buffalo River, and I think he's had enough, and I think he should enjoy retirement. The shape he created. Up. He was 12th up on the quick back up, and they went mad into the breeze and the rain.
12th up after running 12 starts last prep and only having 119 days in between. It just butters up Buffalo.
Well, it's like a good second roll at Buffalo River, but eventually you need to put him out and give him what they deserve, and he deserves to just eat and frolic around the paddock for the rest of his days.
Yeah.
However, because of the tempo he created and the madness that was the Tiacal tactics, Rise at Dawn was just exposed the entire way. You watched the head-on, which I watched a bit more than I would because I was in the owner's room post-race, talking about Just Folk with our owners. He was just cruising. He only had to get into him the last sort of 200, which he's entitled to have to get into him first up off that tempo, that shape.
Yeah. This
horse is really, really exciting. He wins this race. He goes straight into an All-Star Mile, gets a ticket. Whether they go there or not, I don't know. I'm telling you, he's going to be super competitive in it if they go there. It might come a run too soon for him, this preparation. And this run on Saturday might take the wind out of a few of them. However, I just think this horse is on that sort of spiral. He's of that age where this preparation, and particularly his next, might be really, really special. If you owned him, you trained him, I'd be keeping the autumn lean enough to have him ready to go in spring. I think this horse is special. That horse is Rise at Dawn. And I think we've potentially seen our next sort of, proper weight for age, middle distance horse in this country.
Do you find it interesting that it ended up starting 440 after what it did in the spring? Craig was the hot horse in spring, and it handled it multiple times and then went on and won a listed race. Do you find it interesting that the market was 360 out to 440?
No, I think the fact it was 360 says all you need to know.
Yeah.
This is a good race. This might have been a listed race, but this is the same sort of top of my head. I don't think Shorten Lane started much longer last week in a Group 3 mile at Caulfield. It was close enough.
Yeah,
and the point
started $4 last week.
I just think that this horse is really, 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 really exciting.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I'm very, very excited to watch it sort of go through the grades this prep. I don't know where they'll go or what they'll do. I think it's a miler, maybe 800 metre horse. So eventually, I think we'll see this horse in Cox Plates, Might and Powers in the spring, those sort of races.
Yeah.
This autumn, it looks like it'll probably have to be an All-Star Mile now, which would be, a hot All-Star Mile versus the stable's best horse they've ever trained in, Mr. Brightside, who might win a Group 1 on Saturday, which would make him the most Group 1 winning horse that Lindsay Park's ever had, which is like saying something. Like they've had, you'd be surprised how many champions that they've had because they've been around forever, Yeah. Bit flary, but I really, really like Rise at Dawn. The next race, the CSA Stakes, a really nice race, eh? Like, really interesting race that sets up the autumn in Melbourne.
Mate, and Dola, how was that fucking run on Saturday?
Oh, and the turnaround. Pistol Pete, our man, had a little stiffy about this horse last prep, and he went limp when it went to Sandown.
Yeah,
you
no
could hear
belt
in his
stuff.
voice, he was just disappointed in himself and the horse. And no, Peter, you were right all along.
Yeah,
because this horse was absolutely fucking enormous on Saturday. No intent, back from a wide draw. They took their medicine, and this thing savaged the line Sheen style. Really hit the line and sets up for a really, really enthralling, Pratty, Australian Guineas at Flemington in 2 or 3 weeks. The winner, Seapals, rails and run, baby. What are we doing with that? I'm saying he's been copping the win the whole way around.
Pretty insane to think that the horse has been able to do what it did off that even a tempo to the 600 and still go away with it potentially into the breeze the whole way.
And it's also pretty embarrassing to say that I think I might have dogged it when this horse went around last start at Sandown in a 64. Did I dog it?
Did we back it last start in a 64 at Sandown, or did we back it at Sale? I cannot remember, if I'm going to be honest.
Either way, I'm disappointed in myself. I cuddled it on Saturday, and if I bet the prices as I would have had a bet on it, because it got out to $9 late.
Yeah.
Because the market came for one horse and one horse only. The horse we took $8 about, Feroce, for Dom Sutton, Bill Egan rode 3/4 sleeves. Drifted. I probably should have backed it. Didn't. Unbelievable performance. The closing splits are just out of this world. 14th fastest last 100 metres of the day, off an even tempo for him, but a very fast tempo for the race. I thought it was enormous. Whether this horse can hold it together now for the rest of this prep is the question. But time will tell.
Grimace was into one of the Grimaces on course at Flemington was into old 3/4 sleeves Billy Egan when he rolled up. I was standing near the stalls, and one of the great ushers on track at Flemington goes, "Oi, Billy, it's a bit wet out there, isn't it, mate? You'd be loving this." And Billy just turned around and looked at him and just went, "Yeah, mate," and just kept walking with his suitcase dragging behind him, just gave him absolutely donuts. And Michelle was looking at me like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a jockey if you're unaware," and that's just one of the weirder interactions I've ever seen. But anyway.
But not unnormal on a racetrack.
Not unnormal. But then we get to Marg, Dicko. Let's go on a little bit of a sidetrack while I'm on the Grimaces at Flemington. How good was Margaret when we got up into the chairman's on Saturday? You boys been here before? No, we haven't. Oh, well, this is where you go. Just a lovely little sweet old lady. What an absolute legend. Even said to Farjack, "I'm sorry about Sunday. I made sure I caught it all up on your Instagram." What a way to be greeted into the chairman's on Saturday.
Yeah, Margaret was outstanding. The hospitality was just next level up the top. Margaret outstanding. Far, just a great host.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, Seapals was enormous. Feroce looked like a drunk sailor, but that might have been the wind. He was $8 into like $4.40. You can't eat SP and you can't eat value, even though I keep trying to.
Henline, what are we doing from Saturday?
Henline needs a lot further. It can come out and jam us in the Danny, the North Star, in the Australian Guineas if it needs to, but you can't. Sorry, I should preface this by saying I expect the horse to be well and truly in the market in the Australian Guineas.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying it can't win, but you deserve a bigger price for how it's going and how it trialled. Yep. It was sneaky okay late in this race. Scary, Henline, and one other horse right at the back hit the line stronger than it looked. Two of them which wasn't Henline, it was Scary and another horse. I thought they're right on track. Geez, that's a nice little kick-off point for a derby up in Sydney.
Red Aces.
Red Aces, Scary. I think I don't know what prices they'd be, and you'd want to know that they're going there. I thought they both returned super to go to Randwick and be very competitive in their derby. I don't know if they'll be sharp enough at the mile, is my sort of theory there. Henline was the big spooky horse through spring, sort of failed to deliver, but went very close to doing it. 3 jump outs. The last jump out was off the bit, sort of revving up to catch up to Cursanova, which won at Seymour on Wednesday. I don't know. I just think they're going to say, hey, here's a price that I just think is a little bit ridiculous. Henline, it was the third fastest within the race from the 600 to the 400, but then it sort of petered out a little bit towards the end.
The Australian Derby.
Fascinating race though. Royal Insignia started nice and short in this race, wasn't suited, was 3 wide, no cover at key stages. Was good enough to sort of persist with. It might be the one they spit out market-wise in the Australian Guineas, and it's going to have this nice SP in the CSAs, and I think an unsuited yet decent enough run.
Yep, fair enough. I would read you the odds for those in the Australian Derby, but there's just no point in finding out what they are because it's an all-in market, and I wouldn't be taking all in. We don't know where they're going, so...
Now we get to the Black Caviar Lightning.
What a mess with how windy it was at that point of the day.
250 to 1. This thing paid on Betfair.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Actually,
we got. That's what I got told.
No, you said it on the Thursday captain's run.
Oh, I marked it 251.
Yeah, you said so. A friend of mine sent me a message. Good old Lockie, what a fucking guru he is. He goes, I was actually kind of a little bit keen. I've always backed Skybird on the way through, but I listened to the Thursday captain's run this week, and Dicko said it was 200. So,
well, thanks for reaching out every time I get something right, Lockie.
Oh, he does. He'll send me a message. I just don't want to inflate your ego too much, so I never tell you them all.
All right. Well, you're all good there, Lock. Play on. I did not see this coming. I didn't see Strat Angel coming. I saw Benedetta going well.
That's an enormous run by Benedetta, isn't it?
Yeah,
up the inside.
Up the inside.
Oh, fuck, that's
tick,
huge.
Tick. But they put the blinkers on first up, so it's just confusing.
Yeah.
Switzerland was, I thought, the most suited horse within the race, and plain. Traffic Warden was okay. He's a head case, obviously not suited by people letting off fireworks as they're about to jump at Footscray. That might have been where you went to. Is that what your party you went to?
No, I went to the West Coast Cricket Club, mate, past Players' Day. They played 2 overs for the day, and we stood inside and screamed at the TV. It was great.
Growing Empire, fuck, not good.
Is it not good? Or do you think that when it hit the front and was by itself, that it had no idea what was going on and it was just getting battered by the wind?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty experienced horse now. That's not really a feasible excuse for me.
But that's
it's just a really frustrating horse. You feel like you own him when you've ridden a futures bet for so long on him. I think they slaughtered his last preparation, and now their backs are against the wall. They need to get this guy to win a Group 1, and the longer it takes, the less prestige it has and the less value he has at stud. So
yeah. Now I know you say that, and fair enough. We did ride that ticket, which was rather annoying, especially when you took a few multis into it as well. But that day when it wobbled around at Flemington, when it won and it beat First Settler, that was Makita Stakes Day. I remember how bad the wind was before that day as well. So that's twice at Flemington when it's been down the straight, where once it's been out by itself and exposed, it hasn't known what to do.
Yeah, but the horse picks up a number and a rating because it won a group race as a 2-year-old, right? Versus a 3-year-old versus First Settler. First Settler, let's see where it is,
Yeah. I'm just saying that I just wonder if it's a horse that's suited to down the straight.
Yeah. I don't know. You can forgive Way to the Stars, Face the Breeze, Philosopher, just tactically inept. Joyful Fortune just needs it a bit softer than that was. Yep. Marzu was probably 2 years younger. It's a horse to follow out of the race. It was brave. It punched up into the speed. And it was beaten 4.3 lengths on a brutal wind day. So its SP shorter than it probably should have been because it rained and they started to come for it. But it was good versus the horses that were up there with it, I thought. I think Benedetta's in for a really nice campaign. I think she's the next superstar sprinter. I just have a lot more confidence when I say that if she didn't run in blinkers. So it's real horsey stuff. If they're just putting the blinkers on to sort of fire her up to make her sharp enough at 1,000 to get this Group 1, or will that backfire on them because now they don't have that up their sleeve. I think she's special. I think she's the sort of age and the mare that's going to go to that next level. And obviously now you can't knock Skybird, and the wetter it is, she's obviously going to be thereabouts. I think she's a 400-metre horse. I thought she was, and I was wrong.
They said, I was listening to the radio, they interviewed Mitch Friedman, and he said they knew going towards the run of the Doncaster or the Golden Eagle, I can't remember. They knew basically before that run that it was a sprinter, and then after it ran in that race in the Golden Eagle, because it was just worth so much money, they ended up doing the genetics test on the horses, and it's a sprinter and it's going to be trained like a sprinter going, is what I heard. I don't think it was exposed till about the 150-metre mark when it got past horses, and it was fucking blessed the whole way down that straight.
I pray to God, Zeus, a la Bilbo, that
I hope they go up to
Group
$3
1 in like 3 weeks and starts like sub $5, and we can just have a fill up on everything else.
Win and place.
But I don't know if it will. It'll be interesting what happens to it.
Yeah. It did explode late, but they did crawl as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good race though.
I'm surprised they need a genetics test to tell them what sort of horses they are. 2025, huh?
Yeah, well, I suppose if you're not 100% sure and the technology's available, why not?
Yeah, I kind of wasn't that big on them, but that's worth thinking about, isn't it?
Yep.
The next race, a bit doddish. I thought Sneaky Sunrise returned well. The winner was good. They're probably the two to focus on. Husk was brave up on speed, punching, and then in the last, just a benchmark 84, but fucking God bless. I think Dan Bowman had about 3 winners over the weekend. He wasn't there for any of them. He's sinking piss with Bros and DeChambeau over there on the Live Tour in Adelaide.
Another good story I heard on the radio. The update went out to the owners saying that, and I haven't listened to Dan's interview, which is what I wanted to get to before on here, and shout out to the man. I hope he had a ripping weekend at Adelaide and well deserved. He basically gave the update saying that if it was going to be a soft track, the horse would be pulled out. And he's obviously had a few sherbets on Saturday and either forgot or got the confidence up and just gone, bugger it, we'll run it anyway. And he was standing in one of the tents roaring at home. How good's that?
Yeah, maybe Dan should let the market tell him what to do, because the horse started 350 and pissed in.
Yeah, it's great. It was great.
This horse,
it's 2 massive
Dan
runs.
deserved this win.
Oh, 100%.
He has prepared this horse. Maybe he needs to get a genetic test on what sort of ground it's going to cop too. But he's prepared this horse so well. It never gets the setup it deserves. Like, she was too cold on that day at Flemington. It should have won.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been a protest anyway. It probably should have won. This horse could have won more races than it has won. And I think it's an exciting 12 months ahead for Is It Me and for our man Dan Bowman. A little bit greyed up by the form with the Wizards horse
Kappa
running 10th. But it's great for racing. If Kappa 39 can be competitive on Saturdays, that's great for the sport.
And then didn't the weekend just get rounded out, and sorry to bring it up, for the mailbag, Bloodstock until you got to Sunday at Toowoomba when you saw race 10 at Eagle Farm with KWT on top, who I thought gave it a pretty good ride from 1 to get it to where it was, and then just has maybe copped a little fine after the race. But
outstanding. Firstly, we monitored all day. Shout out to T-Bone, the great man. Remapped them all at the 600 so we knew what was going on.
Beautiful.
Spoke to the stable. You can't make a lot of plans, but just let it be known if we can get off, we will. Kieran rang me. Said there's not much we can do, but we just want to get off if we can. He goes, yep. And then he went through every run he had at Flemington. And I said, well, I don't understand why we're using jet. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. The horse went great. Pinged the lids up there at Eagle Farm. She sat in them for 5 lengths while everything got a head start, last start on the Gold Coast. The jury is well and truly out on her if she's like a stakes level mare and can mature into that, or if she's a benchmark 80, 90, 78 sort of horse moving forward. Either way is a pretty good result for a yearling. And with her pedigree, she's valuable. But I think with a bit of consistency to her preparation. Put it this way, 200 to go, you're roaring. 2 minutes later, you're going, fuck, that's good to have her back, you know? Once the dust settles, the money's disappeared, you calm down, you're very, very happy that she's run so well. And that was kind of the theme of the weekend. We had 3 runners on Saturday, in Saturday races, you know, worth an average 100 grand or something. We ran 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Personally, I would rather have run last and first with one of them. But it means that they're thereabouts and we're going well, and you know, the good times aren't too far away. And that's why you should never have place all-ups.
I mean, that's what Far collected on Saturday, so I mean, I think it's a bit of you do you, isn't it?
Yeah, Far's obviously, like, I'm very happy that I ran. If I have to run 4th to a horse to run 3rd, I'm very happy that it was Far, because he's a great man. He's an early crow man, and it's his turn for a bit of luck after what happened to him last Sunday. I thought it was my turn for what happened to me, Grouse Man, but it wasn't. It'll come. It's coming. I'd get on the train and I'd be part of it. JONO, Jono at themailbag.com.au to come and race one with me. Speaking of our men at the Early Crow, J-Mac had a very quiet day in Melbourne. Very quiet day. That's all right. K-Mac, our man, Swan's man, been on the Crow twice or once. Lovely person, family man.
Ripping bloke.
One of the all-time great riders. He'd have 70, 80 Group 1s, top of my head. Melbourne Cups, Everest, the works. I don't know if you watched it, Pratty, but he didn't win on an obvious favourite that the cesspit piled into, and it's his fault.
Standard.
And
why wouldn't it be, Dicko? Why are you surprised by that? That's going to be one of the questions.
Because sometimes I seem to overestimate the collective intelligence of the community. The saddest thing of all was what was once a great brand, a great publication, a brand that brought punters to the sport and educated punters and provided content to punters to grow the industry and increase engagement in the sport. I'm talking about punters, punters.com, sold to Rupert. They're basically an affiliate joint, allegedly, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm wrong, correct it. To see a joint that is once like at the tippy top of engagement and content and community within the sport lower itself to just like trying to make the lowest denominator engage with their content now is so sad for the sport. Whoever tweeted like hang a shit on him, it's just very disappointing. Punters suck. Karen's ride on Joliestar, if you are unhappy with it, you are a simpleton. You don't understand racing. The horse jumps in a small field, jumps really well. He lands outside Magic Time. He's in the market. Does he fight the horse and get behind Magic Time? And if he does that and doesn't catch Magic Time, that's his fault too. He would have been told by Chris, as I'm pretty sure J-Mac said to us, Chris will give you instructions, particularly first and second up when the horse is building into a prep. So he sits outside Magic Time. There's no one inside Magic Time, Jordan Childs, to get to the fence. So 8 times out of 10, Magic Time will roll to the fence. Karen will get the 1-1 on Joliestar. The horse is fighting him, revving, over racing. So he can snick and pull the handbrake on that horse while it expends the same amount of energy to rip it back and get some cover for 300 metres whilst choking the horse to do it. Or he can try and work with the horse and keep the horse in a nice rhythm first up for a big campaign.
Yep.
He rolls 3 wide and presents a horse to win the race. Magic Time, after playing games, and I think a nice game, and smart by Jordan Childs to hold out the other horse that was in the market, then gets fucking handled and jammed back inside and waited till the seas parted. Had nowhere to go. Then when the seas parted, Magic Time went fucking bang.
Yep.
If Karen goes behind Magic Time, he never ever gets past it because he peels out on Magic Time as they exit the corner and enter the straight, and it wins. If Karen goes to the front on Joliestar, he potentially cooks the horse properly because he has to work to get across in a short sprint race. Then he needs to fill the lungs up, which he can't do, and he probably gets a bit angry from Uncle Chris, which Karen does not want to do.
No.
Every decision he made within the run was completely logical and made complete sense to, I think, anyone with a brain who watches horse racing consistently.
Being beaten by a horse, Magic Time, that's run the fastest last let me just double check to make sure that I'm not talking shit, has run the fastest last 6, 4, and 2 split of the meeting. And then it's also been beaten by Iona Merck, who's like 8th up for Bjorn, who's flying. That's the fit racehorse.
Yeah.
The only other horse that's run a better split than at home is Alentia, and it's run the second fastest last 6, 4, and 2 because they fucking crawled on Saturday.
I'm not saying, like, if I backed Joliestar, I would have blown up privately because I am a deluded idiot in the run because I'm just trying to keep myself... I'm trying to remind myself that I'm really good at this. So it's not my fault when I lose. I get that. But when you break the ride down, he did nothing wrong. And to attack the bloke... the athlete for making what you deem a mistake, like personally, it's just shit.
What's your take on his ride on Via Sistina first up?
Perfect, logical, inside draw. He's always going to land on the fence. I thought waited his turn. Horse wasn't good enough. First up, short of its best. Returning off one of the biggest campaigns like we've ever seen in racing. We have no idea, like where Chris Waller's got Fangirl versus Via Sistina prep-wise. I thought it was ridden a lot better than, say, Jailwolf was ridden, like intent-wise to win a race. But these are the elite horses of our country. The elite, first up. To assume that these horses are going to be revved and used tactically to get a spot that's more profitable in run than where they're going to normally be is delusional.
Waller hinted that Via may need the run too.
And she had a beautiful run though. Jumped, go to sleep, push out, so you're back in the hustle and bustle of racing and get through the line, girl. Beautiful return. I thought the ride was completely fine. The horse wasn't good enough on the day.
Yeah. And then he gave Inhibitions a peach. I think it was just after the Joliestar
we know that
race.
because
WhatsApp blew up.
Full credit to Tom. On behalf of Michael and myself, and we're very proud of him and happy for him to finally join the double-figure tip club. It's taken 2.5 years, but we got there. I didn't know if he was going to get there in the end. Like I kept saying, if you don't take the shots, you can't make the shot. As Michael Jordan said, you got to take the shot, Tom. Tom's taken some shots and he's hit one at double figures, and we're extremely proud of him. And it was a great day on the Eyes on Pony slide. All up, place multi in Melbourne. And I apologise again on behalf of everyone at the Early Crow. Pratty made an error in the quaddie, not going field in the
I didn't put the horse that you had rated 200 to 1 in the quaddie. That's
I just thought field would have looked better, felt better.
It would have looked better for sure.
Easier to write, less word, less characters than all the numbers.
Yeah, fair. You knew Paps was up and about when Inhibitions run. All he wrote, the only thing he wrote was, "Oi, Dicko, is that in my wheelhouse, you fuck?" That is fucking gold. That is absolute gold. But
it's good. It's good. I'm happy he mixed it up a bit. Like Joliestar, like Jolly, $2, $3. Like, come on, man. It was good.
I mean, he did get, I think Yorkshire drifted. I think he had 3.5 units on that. He would be spewing if I didn't mention that to him. And Anaropa gave that a peach to salute.
So that's essentially racing. Racing this week was brought to you by CTW Excavations. They'll go where the big boys won't. Find them on Instagram. Durries, Dim Sims, and cash.
Discounts.
Gets you a discount.
Durries, Dim Sims, and discounts. There we go. We've written his tagline. Now, we've done... what have you got there? What are we chewing on here? Because that surely does not fit in the realm of a Kirk's-free, sugar-free lemonade. Cookie time. What is it? Double choc chip cookie sandwich. How many grams of sugar are we talking about in one of those bad boys?
Well, they make it hard to find.
Yeah. Some of New Zealand's finest. While you're reading
30% sugar, 45%... That's not too bad, is it?
I mean, it's not too bad. What was the grams of sugar? 30 grams?
Yeah, like per 100, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 30%. Fair enough. Who says, when you ask somebody for grams of sugar on the back of a packet, who goes,
God.
It's 30%. So is that exactly 100 grams? Is it that cookie?
What they do is they break it down to 100 grams, and then everything that's like a number...
Yeah, but in Australia, mate, I don't know if you ever looked on the back of things, it actually tells you the amount of grams per serve.
Yeah, but so 30% of this is sugar. That's what I'm trying to say to you, mate, okay?
Yeah, and how many grams is that cookie?
I think I'm getting 21.3 grams sugar.
That's not too bad. It could be way worse. But where A, did you get permission to eat that to start with? And B, if you're doing all the hard work and like as you've said to us or to me, I don't know if you've said it to the family, like you're trying to be a little bit more healthier, health conscious, have a few sugar-free soda waters and soft drinks during the week. Why now indulge in this at night? What's the
half price?
Half price.
Like this is the closest thing you get. This is the first time I've ever had them. Like
Cookie time is off its head.
This is the closest thing you get to like that beautiful Subway cookie, which is for me the greatest cookie there is.
Ooh.
With a beautiful little ice cream sort of sandwich in between it. I'm trying to just limit the alcohol just so I know I can do it when I need to do it. So I've got that gear there, basically. I'm not worried about my
bit of pre-training, is it?
Not worried about my health and fitness. I think I'm looking good, feeling good, and hopefully I keep betting good.
Speaking of, weren't you wrapped when Far commented on the caliber of your suit? And I didn't tell you, Michelle said about half an hour before, geez, Dicko's suit's really nice. Please don't tell him that one. Please don't tell him that one, please.
Yeah, it's nice to hear people say nice things about you. That's a great suit. Quite that suit with pistol.
Yeah, so that they are good cookies, Subway cookies, and I'm not knocking you. I think they would be number one. But ones that you can get freely available, the Future Bake double choc chip cookies, ones in the blue packet, those things. There was a reason I went from 90 kilos to 103 kilos quite fast, and it was because of these bad boys, and they are delicious.
You tipped over 100 kgs over?
Yeah, I tipped over 100 kgs before, yep. Maybe about 6 years ago. It was girthy. I'm 90.
You're girthy now.
I'm 93 at the moment. Yeah. The beautiful suited MJ Bale. I can tell you one thing for free. The stitching in the suits from MJ Bale are all time because it's hurting that suit I bought. The suit jacket was probably when I was about 86 kilos, and it still fits snug and none of the seams have burst. So MJ Bale, if you want to get on board and sponsor us, I know Dicko's a little bit impartial on MJ Bale's suit. The craftsmanship on those suits are all time, absolutely all time. But yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, we've solved the cookie debate.
I'd be very keen to get just any type of suit styled brand on board that we believed in.
Yeah,
because it is an expense. Like I hate buying suits.
Yeah. I don't hate buying suits, but you always afterwards you're like, oh, that one definitely stung the wallet, didn't it? I mean, we didn't touch on the good win yesterday at Toowoomba of Rothgate. That was a great win yesterday.
Nice to get one away off a plain weekend. Otherwise, second, third, and fourth. We've got a runner Wednesday. Basically, I'm extremely busy, and all I do is boring things that no one's interested in, like bet, price horses, review races, and bet, and talk to you, and buy horses and sell horses, and go to the races with owners. And I'll be doing that again this week a lot. I think we have a runner Wednesday at Sandown. Yep. I think we'll have a runner or two Friday night at Moonee Valley, and we probably have a runner Saturday on Blue Diamond Day at Caulfield. Not in the Blue Diamond, unfortunately. So just a bit of rinse repeat. Wednesday, JD and I are headed out to check on Katsu, who's sold out, and also White Bear, and just sort of see where they're at and make a sort of decision together as to how long they'll spell for. Each of them will be different, probably. I'd say Katsu will come into work a bit sooner than White Bear, but I'm not going to tell JD how to train. But I'm going to give my point of view because I can't help it. And I bought them. So that's what I'm doing this week. That's what I know I'm doing this week. Righto. That'll wrap us up for episode 62, I believe. MJ, 63. Rolls Royce. The P-Rat. The Early Crow. Brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses for selected XGT 45 vaccines and combos. Limited time only. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT, more powerful, more intelligent, more Makita. I missed one, but you got the point. Makita, get around him. CTW Excavations, D. Papley, great man, great service. He'll go where the big boys won't. Find him on Instagram. We'll be back Thursday night for the captain's run ahead of a big, fat Group 1 racing across both states, I assume, We're definitely racing for the biggest prizes in Victoria. You'd hope and expect we are in Sydney as well. T. Papley will be present. We'll also grill him about football. And if you want to hit us up on the socials about anything, if Pratty shows it to me or I see it, I promise you I will read it to him. Have a great week. Be nice to everyone. Gamble responsibly. Buy a racehorse with me if you're going to buy one. JONO at themailbag.com.au. White Bear selling fast. Have a great week. Bye for now.